the 70th Annual Labor Day Parade. I'm Trish Pope.
I'm Steve LeDuc. Hasn't rained all summer, but today is the day it decides to rain.
We do need the rain, so it's okay.
We do. It's, Marlborough Parade is still happening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome joining us.
We're going to have a quick opening from our mayor.
Right.
So we're going to have the mayor welcome us to the parade.
Good morning, Marlborough. Happy to be here with you on Labor Day morning for the beginning of our Labor Day Parade. It's the 70th year we're going to be doing the parade, and this year is extra special because of our Grand Marshal, Matt Sargent. He's done a fantastic job with our veterans and can't wait to get out there with Matt during the parade route. We have a lot of people coming. Obviously, it's an election year, so the politicians will be here. Many of the bands will be here. Marlborough High School Band will be leading the parade again, as usual. UMass Band will be here. They always put on a great show. Flashback and some of the other local bands will be in the parade itself on different floats. And don't forget the Shriners will be picking it up at the end. I want to take this minute to recognize Melanie Wampum for doing another great year and putting this thing together. It's a lot of work with a lot of people that put this thing together. So thank you all very much. I'll see you out on the parade route. This year I'm going to be a little different. I just have my knee done, so I'm going to be struggling a little bit, but we'll see you in either a car or a golf cart along the way. So we'll be out there. See you soon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and welcome back, everyone. Hey, we've got a few new features this year. We're going to be able to show you feed from French Hill. We're also being broadcasted on YouTube, Facebook, and you can catch us on the website too. So if you know people who are living outside of town but still want to catch Old Town Marlborough Parade, give them a call, let them know how they can watch the parade today. And now we'll give you a live feed from French Hill.
I'm assuming it's Is that the camera? Is that the camera?
For WMCT, yes, this is the camera. If you want the banner? One second, Alex. Someone's trying to talk. Okay. I've been told that I should back up. Oh, I'm completely moved the camera. I'm so sorry. Is it okay if I? Okay. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Could you move out of the way? Thank you.
Alright. Well, I got 5 minutes.
I think they're about to start.
I was trying to get my
and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? On behalf of Mayor Arthur Vigent and the Parade Director Melanie Wampum, the 2022 Labor Day Parade Committee is proud to present the 70th Annual Marlborough Labor Day Parade. Please rise for the presentation of the colors by the Firefighters Union number 1714 Honor Guard under the direction of Paul Maurice. And the performance of the national anthem by the UMass Lowell Marching Band. Present the colors!
Were you expecting a response from me? Move the camera.
So the parade is just stepping off up in French Hill. It's going to be about 20 minutes before it makes it down here to Main Street. And we have some fun things in store, but I was just talking with my friend Steve here, and we've been doing this for 5 years.
About 5 years now.
Yeah.
And this is, well, and we had one skip with the pandemic
Oh, that's
in
right.
2020. We didn't make it then.
That's right.
But you know what? We're not alone here. As we look down Main Street, we see about 24 people under tents, under umbrellas. So we're not alone here. We have some diehards.
That's right, and it is the Labor Day Parade, so it is a tradition that people in Marlborough never want to give up. So, I mean, those are our tried and true friends that are out here with us, and we appreciate that. I know the units in the parade will appreciate it because it takes a lot to walk in the rain.
Yeah, I mean, I also want to acknowledge we have the Marlborough Police Department out here in their rain gear, directing traffic. The DPW did what they had to with getting the horses out and making sure that everything's proper. So, you know, there has been a lot of devoted efforts to make sure that this parade goes off, rain or shine. And I also say, many a year we've woken up cloudy skies, threats of rain, and then next thing you know, by noontime, the skies have opened up. It's beautiful.
Not this year.
I guess we didn't pay our subscription this year because
yeah,
it's
I don't
just-
think we're as lucky this year. But, you know, when we brought it back after the pandemic, when we needed it beautiful, it was.
It really was.
And we have lucked out this summer with gorgeous weather. So, and
yes, gorgeous weather in terms
we,
of, yeah, right.
You
I
know,
mean,
for the whole summer
blue
long.
skies for most of it.
Right,
Yeah, a little
so-
hot stretch there, uncomfortable, but we got through it, and
Yeah.
yeah, so.
So we're going to send it up. We have some, our parade Grand Marshal this year is Matt Sargent. Matt is a veteran here in the city, and he does a real lot for the city. He's a very unsung hero.
Yeah, very
You know?
giving, and we have a segment on him.
We have a segment on him, but one of the things I want to mention about him is when you're down here on Veterans Day and you see all those pictures on the memorials of long ago veterans that served the city, Matt is the one that's responsible for finding all those photos and putting them up on the monuments. He goes out and cleans graves. He's just an amazing young man and truly deserving of this honor as Grand Marshal.
Yes.
He is. So we're going to toss it off and let you meet Matt Sargent.
Matthew Sargent cares about his city. So much so, he is always giving back. If you don't recognize the name, it's because Matt does all of his volunteer work behind the scenes, not looking for any pats on the back. He is a lifelong resident who attended the Mass Maritime Academy and then joined the Navy Reserves. During his time in the Navy, stationed on the USS Mount Whitney while on a tour of southern Italy, he made it a point to find the graves of Marlborough soldiers who died in the Battle of Anzio during World War II.
I reached out before I did the tour and said, who from Marlborough is buried there? Because Anzio American War Cemetery is considered American, territory, American land, and that's where all the casualties from the Southern Italian campaign are buried. And I was given a couple names, Alfred Gregoire, Roland Termaine, and John Chase. And so, we went on the tour. The cemetery was part of it, and I was with a bunch of the guys from the ship, and I said, hey, come on, help me find all the graves. We knew the plot numbers and everything, and the cemetery staff was really helpful. And I reached back out and said, well, who were these men? Like, what units were they with? What else do we have? I wanted more of the story. They didn't just die in Italy and they're buried there. There's more to it. And there wasn't a whole lot of info. Some of the people from Marlborough that have died in the service, there's a lot more, maybe because it's sooner or maybe because they had big families and things like that. And so I said, okay, well, I'm always looking for some research project, right? Something to do. So I went down to the monuments here in front of City Hall and took a picture, and that gives me all the names. And then I started going through and finding out about them, and some of them had photos on Ancestry.com or Find a Grave. My dad growing up in the city, and he knew a different generation than I did, so he said, well, what about this name? What about that name? Or, oh, I know that family, that sounds familiar.
This led to the creation of the Marlborough Honor Roll. This includes any veteran with a connection to Marlborough by birth, life, or death.
I think right now it's 116 men just from World War II. And I'm still kind of fine-tuning some of the other ones, but it's quite a bit, and it's a lot more names than we have on the monument. So at the time, sometimes someone was born in the 20s, and by the time 1945 comes around and we're looking to put a monument up in the city, that name there's no connection, and there's no Ancestry.com in the 40s.
Sargent has a personal connection to some of the names on the honor roll.
Grandfather on both sides. My grandfather Harold and his brother Guy were both from Marlborough, and so my grandfather was a storekeeper first class with an aviation unit aboard an aircraft carrier, the USS Mission Bay. And my great uncle was with the Big Red One, so 1st Infantry Division. So he fought through North Africa, Sicily, the Omaha Beach, all the way to I think he ended in Czechoslovakia. So it's really neat, kind of when I started asking those questions as I grew up and kind of appreciated these things a little more. It was like, oh, well, here's some pictures and here's some documents, and there was a lot of stuff that the family had, which was nice.
His love of history and veterans led him to another project he helped get off the ground: restoring gravestones of veterans.
I started just kind of researching like how to clean the graves and just get involved with that. I think there was I think it was a guy in Florida, someone who was like, oh, you seem like you'd like this, and they shared it with me on Instagram, and it was this guy who would go and he would clean it all up and he would do a little research on the veteran, and I thought, wow, that's really neat. That seems like you're outside, you're doing something that is kind of related to history, but you're still outside and you're doing something for a community. And I was a little leery at first because some people with the best of intentions end up damaging stuff, so they'll clean things with bleach, or they'll use metal wire brushes or wire wheels on the stones to get that moss and growth, and they end up damaging the stones really bad. So I was very hesitant to do it at first. And then once I started doing a lot of research and even talking with some of the masons, the city did a great job down in Wilson Cemetery, which is the older section of Evergreen. And I went down and talked with the mason down there, kind of all excited, like, oh, how can I do anything? Like, how would I do this? Like, can I clean them? And he suggested the D2, which is just a really environmentally friendly biological cleaner. And it's really great because you can put it right on the stone, kind of scrub it with some water, or not even do that. You can just spray it and it will clean it by itself. The sun, the wind, the rain, it will do all that. So I started doing that, and I thought they were coming out. I mean, I think I started in Rocklawn off Stevens Street, and it was really interesting because I went down to Reuben Rice's grave, and so he was one of 3 Rice brothers that were killed from Marlborough during the Civil War. Him and his twin also died, but he survived the battle only to come home and die of dysentery. And so he died, his wife had died a year before, so his young son was also died right around the same time. So it was a very tragic story, and I wanted to pay my respects at the grave, and when I went down, it could have used some attention and everything. And once I cleaned it with the cleaner, mainly just so I could read what the stone said, it was like absolute night and day. It was from black crud and growth to, it looked brand new.
Beyond these great projects, he also started the Tag Project, which tells the stories of deceased veterans' lives. He's a member of the Sons of the American Revolution and also coordinated the Medal of Liberty ceremony that honored Marlborough veterans who died in World War II. He also was instrumental in researching the Goodnow brothers, whose name can now be found on Marlborough's newest elementary school.
I've always been interested in the Civil War, very, very interested in that. So I took pictures of the monument and just started doing the research. And then when you come to find out that there's like multiple sets of brothers that died in the war, again, I thought more than just a name on a plaque or a name on a granite monument, there's like a story behind that. And then getting involved with the Marlborough Historical Society, I went down there and I said, hello, what sort of things can you help me with? And the people down there have been really wonderful, letting me in the archives and going around and looking. I became a member, and then now I'm a trustee. And they actually had photos of the 3 Goodnow brothers. And so I said, this is amazing that we have photos that far back, especially of all 3 brothers. I thought it was really great that the city named the Goodnow Brothers Elementary School after the 3 of them.
Sargent is proud to be named this year's Labor Day Parade Grand Marshal and hopes more people will become aware of the ways in which the city of Marlborough recognizes its veterans.
It's a pretty big honor, and I'm pretty excited to represent some of the folks that I've been researching, and the veterans groups that have been helpful with all the research. Kind of get that story out there, and then all the stuff we've been doing in the cemeteries. So that's been it'd be really great to highlight all that and kind of get it out there to the public so more people will know about it.
Wow, what an interesting young man he is,
He is great and comes from the city of Marlborough, and a source of pride for all of us.
Absolutely, and again, an honor well deserved to be the Grand Marshal of this parade.
We don't have it on live feed, but there was a report that there are paper boats being raced down West Main Street right now. So there are people in the gullies racing paper boats in the water right here. So,
oh, gotcha. Okay.
So, it's competing with the bed race today too, which we heard they did have. So we're going to have to get some information as to who won that. But we'll get back to you with that information. I believe we have another segment coming up.
We have another segment while we wait for the parade to hit Main Street, and this is the Algonquin Amateur Radio Club. And I will say that these are the folks that are the behind the scenes. You see them walking the parade route. They let you know if something has happened, if somebody's having a medical event. They're also here in the city whenever there's any type of an emergency. Yep. They band together and keep us apprised of what's happening around us when we have blackouts and things like that.
Yeah, and people appreciate all the logistics behind a parade. So when you go 2 miles throughout the city, you get your beginning, your middle, and your end. And in most times we have thousands and throngs of people. So they really provide a service to us. They're our eyes and ears where we need things.
Absolutely.
And it's great to have them, and we appreciate their efforts and their generosity with their time and efforts.
So let's learn a little bit more about them.
Hi, I'm Ryan, and you're watching Marlborough Minute here on WMCT-TV. The Labor Day Parade is a big event in Marlborough, and it takes a lot of people to keep it organized, keep it on track, and we are so lucky that for many, many years, Algonquin Amateur Radio Club has been a vital, important part of this parade, and I'm so excited to have in the studio today Ann Weldon and Eric Williams. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, before we get into the parade, tell me a little bit about what an amateur radio club does. Are we talking about radio that you listen to on AM, FM stations, or what are we talking about here?
Amateur radio is a FCC licensed organization, and you have to pass a written test. It used to involve Morse code for all levels, which it doesn't at this point. In Marlborough, the Algonquin Club has been here since 1976. They met in various locations. They met at Mitchell School, which is now the Boys Club. We met here at 91 Main Street, down in the off of the apparatus floor. We met at the fire station on Maple Street, and at this point we meet at the Whitcomb School in the library, if you go in door 1, on the second Thursday of every month except July and August.
Now, Eric, you're involved in radio in a very different way. You're helping the emergency management of Marlborough. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so amateur radio operators are all volunteers. And in the hierarchy of communications, say in the United States, for emergency communications, obviously there's the standard police and fire. There's a regular broadcast radio like your stations and all giving out information. What happens, though, is you always have to be prepared when some of that starts to fail or you have a major disaster. And amateur radio operators throughout the world are a vital part of that backbone of communications. Because it's all volunteers, they all have their own radios, they have them in their own homes and their cars and all. So when the cell towers all go down or the main communications dispatch gets, loses power, then amateur radio operators are then called in and to provide that emergency communications. So for Marlborough, with our emergency management, we use the ham operators in the town and the the surrounding towns, and the Algonquin Club is our main contact for that.
So, pardon my ignorance, this is all pretty new to me. So do these radios bounce off of cell towers or or are they communicating directly with each other?
Yeah.
They
kind of
bounce
fell
off of
into place one after
antennas
another.
or repeaters. We each have our own antenna, like our walkie-talkies have their individual antenna that sends the signal to another repeater or to another station at that point.
Interesting.
And I might add, so that's then becomes the local communications where it goes through the repeaters and all. But the amateur radio spectrum, the frequencies we have cover the whole spectrum, and many of the frequencies can travel worldwide. So when there's a major disaster, let's say there's an earthquake in Chile, ham operators will be there in Chile working with the Red Cross or the equivalent agencies there, and maybe passing information from Chile, say, to something in the United States, and then communicated to the served agency in the United States. So it's worldwide or it's local.
Now you said you have to receive some sort of qualification or certification to operate these radios, so it's not the standard Best Buy radio that you can get for the walkie-talkies for your kids. These are more high-powered professional devices.
These are formal tests that the FCC requires us to take, and you study for them either by yourself or you take a class or you have family that help you.
What's on the test? What's it?
Questions about frequency, test questions about the equipment, test questions about equipment that's used, diodes, transistors, the antenna wavelengths.
How circuits work. You have to know how a transmitter works. The different components and like resonant frequency of an antenna and all that. So
right over my head.
But there's 3 levels of licenses. Mm-hmm. So you can start at the first license, which is called technician, and move your way up. And with each license, you get more privileges.
Now, is there a social aspect to this as well? Are you listening in and having interesting conversations? How did you get started in the first place?
Well, I got started because my parents were in ham radio. And my children got interested in ham radio and then convinced me to do it, and my husband. And there is a social atmosphere of it at certain times, like there's a Vention out at the Best Western the end of August. There's different groups on different frequencies that are friendly. We meet people all over the world. Some places, like I go to Maine a lot of the time and meet people up there that I know and I've talked with, and that kind of thing.
And when I was on the Facebook page, I saw that you all have a weekly night net. Is that the right term for
Yes.
it? What's a net mean?
It means that the Algonquin Club, we don't do it in the summer. We do it September through June. They meet Sunday nights on the repeater here in Marlborough to chat about what's going on, other activities happening. Do we have anything that we need to volunteer for? It's a social time, but it also is a time if someone has a problem with their radio, they can ask, and some of the guys will step up to help whoever needs the help. Because there are more knowledgeable people that have worked within the electronic field than some of us that got our licenses. And we survive, but we always have to ask for help at certain times.
Can you share any of the lingo with me? What you know you hear it's break, is it breaker
No.
and none of that stuff?
Usually use our own calls, because we all have our own call signs.
Okay.
That are assigned by the Federal Communications Commission. And we just talk normal talk.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
no
it's-
over and out. No.
No, not
No,
usually.
there's sets of abbreviations because originally in the first, I mean, ham radio's been around since, it's a little bit over 100 years now. And in the early days, it was only Morse code. It still is, Morse code's used a lot. So there's a lot of abbreviations that were used in sending Morse code. It's sort of come back because now when people are texting and they have all these things, I don't know what, like LOL or whatever.
Yeah.
But for ham radio, there were a bunch of abbreviations used in Morse code. Because, for instance, in Morse code, if you wanted to say a laugh, you send HI, which is did. So it's just a simple. There's some of those conventions,
And then your ear becomes attuned to
yeah,
it.
so you just hear it.
Beyond
Yeah.
deciphering individual letters one at a time. If
Right.
you hear da-da-da-da-da, oh, that's a little laugh right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So if you're just sending something, you just want to make sure the person understood you were just joking.
You're just joking.
You just send did.
Yeah.
So let's get down to parade business. This is serious stuff here. And I know the club has been assisting along the parade route for, we were saying
About
30 years?
30 years.
Wow. And what is their part in the parade?
The parade route is long.
It is.
Lots of people. There's only so many police that can be spread out through that. And from an emergency management perspective, we look at this as like a training drill as well, because it practices this kind of exercise.
Yeah, let's get organized, and it's hopefully a low stress situation instead of an emergency.
But it's done formally. I'll be located up at the parade start, and then I'll have a radio in my car talking to all the people spread out throughout the route, and there's about 15 of us.
15 of us.
15 spread out throughout the route. And then I'm coordinating that, just checking in with everybody, and then also have communications direct with the police. So that becomes just extra eyes and ears.
So you're the direct police liaison. So if someone sees something, they'll relay that to you.
Correct.
And then I relate it.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
And then people are watching. So they're watching for, one thing that we watch is for the parade operations. So we track the timing as it goes through. Okay, so that's just gives you something for everyone to make sure that they're paying attention and watching and all.
Right.
But the other thing is everybody has eyes and ears along the route. So if they see something happening, usually there's a police officer close enough, they can just let the police officer know. But if there isn't, then they can call in, and then I can relay that. So, maybe an ambulance call or something like that. If something serious happens, we switch mode, and then we become in the emergency management mode. And now people will they'll get reassigned of what they do. And that might be routing, opening up an area of the parade route and coordinating that to let, ambulances come in or something. Let's say there's a car accident or something,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Or if somebody falls off one of the bicycles that's in the parade, or they get hurt at that point, then we go to Eric, and then
Well, it's the most exciting part of the parade because we can hear the fire trucks coming.
Exactly. We're on the edge of our seat. We can't wait.
We are. We can see the blue lights up the street. We have quite a parade planned. We did have some units that had to drop out due to the weather, and that is because some of the marching units, the instruments.
Can't get them wet, or it's not fun to get them wet.
Right,
and they're
exactly.
expensive instruments.
So we are sorry. We will miss them. The Shriners, I believe, are still going to be with us.
Die-hard Shriners are with us. That's
Yes,
good to know.
absolutely.
And,
And the crowd has really picked up here on Main Street.
I would
have
say,
to say.
we said a couple dozen. Now I see 3 or 4 more dozen, and they are diehards. And I
They
will
sure
tell
are.
you, I'm not sure that I would be doing the same thing.
Oh, come on, you would too.
Oh, all right, okay. I was thinking, again, my first memories, 1972, 1971. right up the street, in front of what's now the Marlborough House of Pizza.
Yep.
Watching that parade when I was a 4-year-old, 3-year-old kid. The clowns, the fire trucks.
Yep. We always took the boys up to French Hill. My uncle had a house right up there.
My
and
grandmother moved up to French Hill, and we watched it on Broad Street.
Yep.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay, well we have
right on time.
We have company. We have a
company with
impromptu interview. Pat Holt,
and Bob.
Trish,
Kane.
I'm sorry,
Hey, Trish,
Trish
how
Holt
you doing?
and Robert
Hi,
Kane
Val,
from the
nice to
Historical
see
Society.
you.
Come on in.
Come on in out of the rain, Bob.
How are you?
All right, we're going to do a quick hello here, and you're
Come
going to
and
tell
sit.
us what's
Come
going
and sit.
on.
Come in, and you can come right here. See under the window.
Oh, okay.
And then you hold this.
Yeah.
'Cause we need to hear you.
Yeah.
Tell us
What's
tell us
going
what
on with the
we're trying to do.
Historical
Oh, my
Society?
goodness.
Tell us what we're trying to do today.
Well, what we're trying to do today is sell some of our calendars. We have our calendar that we printed. Haven't done one in a few years because of COVID and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So this year's calendar is kind of different from what we've normally done. The title is Disasters, Scandals, and Scoundrels.
Disasters, scandals, and
Scoundrels.
scoundrels. I'm a scoundrel, I'm sure.
Well,
You're a
look to it.
disaster.
If somebody wants to purchase one of these, Trish, where can they get one?
We're down, right now we're down just beside the Common. They're $10, and we do accept plastic, cash, all that.
And if you want to bring us some, we're happy to sell them for you at the Senior Center.
Oh, wonderful.
Yep.
And we will be staffing the Historical Society every Tuesday from 4 to 6.
Wonderful.
And you can drop by.
All right, so we're going to be competing with the sirens right now.
Got
but
it.
So we have Marlborough Police coming by.
The Marlborough Police are here. The firefighters are here. I believe the Middlesex County Sheriff's Office is here with their all-terrain vehicle. Al. Tough on the motorcycle.
Yep. So the parade always starts out with this wonderful escort from our police department.
It does.
We see the fire department coming down the street now. Just as the rain is picking up, it's fabulous.
Do you remember your first parade?
Oh my gosh, long time ago.
What year?
I don't remember the year, but a very long time ago.
60s, 70s, 50s?
Probably in the 60s, early
60s.
60s, yeah. We always had the parades at my sister's house, remember?
On
The
West Main
family,
Street,
yep.
right?
Yep.
The Semlac SWAT building.
It's nice to know we have a SWAT unit, but I hope we never need it.
Right. Bob Kane, remember, when was your first parade? Talking to the microphone.
1960.
1960. And Trish, were you ever in the parade?
Shuttlebug.
Shut up. Oh, that's right. Your business was.
Back then,
With Marlborough's Fire Chief Kevin Green.
they used to go the other way.
Chief Gogan. Jamie Giancola.
You know, it's so great that the fire department gets the opportunity. Some of the younger firefighters with younger kids, they can put their kids on the truck today. It's really a cool thing. And I don't know about you, but it makes me feel awfully old because a lot of these new firefighters played baseball or football with my kids.
Right.
So, yeah, and now they're protecting our city in a job they do very, very well.
So Bob, you were saying something about the parade, a tidbit about the direction of the parade the first time we ran.
Used to go this way.
It
We're
used
going
to
to
go.
turn that way and look at the camera.
Oh,
though.
yeah.
It used to go from Maple Street up Main Street towards West Main Street.
I'm going to interrupt for 1 second because we have our major sponsor coming by, Patriot
Patriot
Ambulance.
Ambulance, thank you very much. Thank you, Patriot, for the Starburst and the Good and Plenty.
We have a little lull now, so let's.
Great, yeah, we have a little science now. So we're here selling calendars for the Historical Society.
We are.
And this year's calendar is Disasters, Scandals, and Scoundrels.
Scoundrels, yep. It's a little bit of
And how much is the calendar?
$10.
$10. You can buy them. They will be able to buy them at the Senior Center.
We'll be able to buy them at the senior center.
They're being for sold down here. Or Main Street Bank has them too.
Yep, they will have them starting tomorrow.
Very good.
And so we will have someone at the Historical Society every Tuesday from 4 to 6.
Wonderful.
And there'll be a few other places around town. I haven't quite nailed them down yet, but
Oh, I know you'll get them though.
And how much are you looking to raise with the
well, we.
what's the best year you ever raised money with on the calendars?
What do you think? We'll have a couple of thousand.
Couple thousand? So
That's
if we
a
hit
lot of
3,000,
calendars.
We hit
We'd be-
3,000.
We hit 3,000, we'd be happy.
Absolutely.
Trish Pope and I can take credit if you guys sell $3,000 worth this year because of this interview.
Yeah.
No, we don't need a commission.
We don't need a commission.
We don't need
we'll
a
donate
commission.
right back to the Historical
There
Society.
you go. Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks so
Anything
much.
else you want us to know before we leave?
I was telling you about the parades.
Yep.
And when I was a child, and it used to start down by the Legion and end at Ward Park.
Okay.
And
And
they
the
would-
Wood Park.
And they'd go in, and a lot of the groups would put on a performance and stuff like that.
And if you had to guess, when was the last year they did that?
Oh, in the 60s sometime.
In the 60s, yeah.
Late
In
60s.
the 70s. My first memory is the 70s, and it was always
Yeah,
been this
it
way.
was,
So,
Me too.
yeah.
It was smart making it this way.
Yeah. And how
Yeah.
many times were you in the parade, Mr. King?
I don't know.
Couple times?
Couple times.
A few times, yeah.
Couple times.
Couple times.
All right. Well, thank you for stopping
Thank you
by.
so much
Thank
for
you so
stopping by. Good luck with the calendars.
Hey,
Anything we can
Good to see you
absolutely.
guys. How are
Anything
you?
we can do to support you, you let us know.
Thank you.
You're
Bob
welcome.
King, you still owe me lunch. I let the whole public know that you owe me lunch. So.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, your microphone's off now. You're good.
Thank you.
You're
Bye.
welcome.
Be careful.
Bye-bye.
Be
Careful
careful.
there.
Nice shoes, Bob.
Bye-bye.
Nice shoes.
Oh, it's gonna start.
You
There you
do
go.
what she tells you to do.
Absolutely.
I've got my garden shoes on.
There
That's
you
right.
go.
And they are wicked warm and dry.
And now we have coming down the street, we have the Marlborough Fire Local 1714 Honor Guard. Honor Guard coming down the street. And this year it's being led by Michael Sessick. I do not know. Let's take a look and see if we
see
can
my
identify some
glasses.
of them. Yeah. We appreciate them being here and kicking off the parade for us. Past years, it's been led by Phil Maurice.
Right.
Uh-huh.
I see Mr. Logan there. I see my friend Dave Logan.
And we have one more little lull going on because I think that
There are no lulls in the Marlborough Day Parade. What are
No,
we
that's true. That's true.
How are you, Michelle? Good to see you.
We do want to again thank Patriot Ambulance for being one of our major sponsors, along with St. Mary's Credit
St.
Union.
Mary's Credit Union.
You know, we have our sponsors. Without them, a lot of this parade couldn't happen. The city, Melanie Wampum, who runs the parade, has run it for the last several years. She took over the helm from her husband, George.
Right.
You know, she works tirelessly to get these sponsors so this parade can come off. Because this is a pretty expensive event. And I think that people don't understand that. These units, it costs them money to come here. So, we kind of have to pay their expenses to get them here.
And it's a crowning achievement to the extent it's the biggest Labor Day parade in Massachusetts, and one of the biggest parades throughout the Commonwealth throughout the whole year. We probably compete with the St. Patrick's Day parade in Boston.
In Boston, yep.
Springfield has a big parade, I believe, in the spring as well. But Labor Day, we're the only show in town.
Right, and one of the things about the Labor Day parade, I'm sure everybody knows, is the politicians.
They are. They come here. They.
And we have heard there are going to be several here today because tomorrow is primary election day.
Tomorrow's election day, which is hardly happens the day after Labor Day.
Right.
Usually they don't have it so close, but it is this year.
It is this year, so we want to remind people to go out and vote and give these candidates a little extra credit for coming out here in the rain the day before the election, which is a very, very long day for all of them. Having run one or two myself, and you as well, we know what they're doing. And Labor Day also signifies
the end of summer.
The
beginning of the political season.
Meteorological end of summer. Summer actually doesn't end until the end of September.
21st, and
That's
I
right.
use it for all it's worth.
That's right. September tends to be a beautiful, beautiful month. We'll give them back today, but there's a lot of summer left, and it also is the kickoff of football season.
Football season.
I know a lot of people are surprised that I would know that. Not being a football player myself.
This Thursday night kickoff NFL. The college football kicks off as well. We'll see what the Patriots bring us now. Second year without Tom Brady. Our third year without Tom Brady.
But I do know they're playing the Dolphins on Sunday.
Yes, they are.
So I have my trivia up. That's about all I know.
So you don't know who's playing Thursday night?
I know it's the Super Bowl champion, but I don't know who that was.
I believe it's the Rams. I think it's the rematch. The Bills and the Rams. Oh, that's right. The Rams.
And I'm going to give a shameless plug to the Senior Center because kicking off football season, we always start with a football tailgate. Our program coordinator, Lisa Martino, is a huge football fan. And this year, we will be featuring Mac Jones burgers.
Mac Jones burgers.
There you go.
I'm only 54, so I'm not eligible to come down and participate. But I do have a question. You had your beach blanket bingo or something like that.
That was actually the mayor's beach party.
Okay.
And
how did that go?
He had two this summer, and I'd be hard pressed to say which one was better than the other. They were both well attended. We had beautiful beach days, and everybody had just a fabulous time.
Each day at Memorial Beach?
Both at Memorial Beach, once before the beach opened and once right after the beach closed. So it was open special for seniors. Food was courtesy of the Prospector and Bob Kays and his team.
Excellent.
Flashback was the band.
Excellent.
So, and I'll tell you, if you go on Facebook and you look at some of the Facebook Live on that, everybody had a great time. It was just two beautiful days this year.
Is Flashback back in the parade this year?
Flashback was supposed to be in the parade, but because of the weather, but because of the weather, they're unable to participate this year.
Too bad.
They do send their regards, and they will be back because they are a very popular band here around town. And we have our first banner coming down the street. Our banner holders today are the Marlborough High cheerleaders. And we want to thank them for doing that in this very inclement weather. And I believe our first group down here is probably, can I read that? Is it that the Marlborough?
The Wampum family. The Wampum family is a sponsor, that's the banner. And then Ken's Foods is a sponsor as well.
Yeah. And the Wampum family, I know the family gets together and does this in honor of George, who was the mastermind behind the parade. I think he took over from Lou Galoni and did it for many, many years after Lou Galoni. Hey, how are you, Barbara?
Good. How are you, Barbara?
Good job being out here in the rain. I know, we walked out. Oh, good for you, good for you. And you got it just in time. The parade's just hitting the street.
Is that Av? Is that Abraham? Tell him I said hello, please. All right.
Okay.
Steve LeDuc.
Okay.
Yep. Former student of his.
Yeah, and you know our son David, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I think he's on the cake this weekend.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, too. So we have a surprise this year. I don't want to spoil it till he gets here, so we're going to keep it under wraps because, you know, the mayor is doing something a little bit unusual for our mayor this year in the parade. And no, it's not cartwheels down Main Street.
No, but it does require wheels.
It does require wheels, that's right.
Yeah.
So we have our first band coming down the street.
And they sound good.
And it is the UMass Lowell Marching Band. Typically, the leader of the parade is the Marlborough High Marching Band, and again, because of the weather, they were unable to participate. It was too much for on the instruments and very new for some of the students and things. So,
Given their limited budget compared to the UMass budget,
right,
they wanted to preserve their instruments and their kids. Their season's coming up well with the football games and everything coming up this season. So.
And they will be at the football games. They play at the home games and
The home games and the Thanksgiving game.
Thanksgiving,
which is this year in Marlborough.
This year in Marlborough, and they continue to play Hudson in the Thanksgiving.
They do.
Yep.
Yeah, a tradition that's been hundreds of matches, and maybe hundreds over 100 years that we've been playing Hudson.
So we're going to apologize ahead of time if we announce some people out of line. The schedule has changed so many times today because of the rain, but we'll do the best we can to keep you apprised of what's happening. And you know, being I want to give a shout out to the members of the UMass Lowell Band, Marlborough High Band. Band members are much like student athletes. It takes a lot of, there's a lot of practice involved, there's a lot of extracurricular involved, and sometimes they don't get the credit that the all-star team does, but they are the glue behind it that keeps the spirit going. Having been a former band member myself, I do have to give band members a shout out.
I've always admired members of the band. Number one, they can play an instrument like can't. Number two,
and walk with it.
and walk with it, and they're devoted to it, and they sound terrific. They look terrific.
We're going to quiet down here because
They have
we've
fun.
got UMass Lowell singing for us as they're approaching us on Main Street.
Their rain gear.
So we have our Marlborough elected officials coming down the street. We promised you a surprise with our mayor,
Here's
and
our
here he comes
surprise.
wheeling in his golf cart.
The mayor
this
is
year. Mayor Vidgen,
unfamiliar
Councilman Vidgen.
attire today. He's in shorts and he's driving a golf cart.
We've got our school committee members, our city councilors here walking down the
City
street.
councilors, state representatives,
Yep.
city councilors, newly elected city councilors.
And I believe the banner was carried by some of Mayor Vidgen's grandchildren.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Well, so the secret is, or the surprise is,
The mayor had his knee done
he had a knee surgery done
last week.
last week, keeping him from being able to be all suited up and glad-handing everybody like he does
Right.
each year during Labor Day. And then our friend City Councilor Don Landis is
Thought that
well,
he
number
should-
one. Yeah, he's going to join them. Number
Right,
one.
he
Number
shouldn't
two,
drive alone.
Don turned 81 this year.
Did he really?
He did.
Wow.
So there's no shame in taking a golf cart ride in the parade, especially when it's raining. So
That's right. That's right.
and we wish them both the luck going forward with health and happiness.
Yeah.
And how are you?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
We have the mayor's team here with us. We have the mayor's aide and the mayor's secretary,
Hello,
Trish
Trish.
Bernard,
How are
and
you?
Candace McGrath is with us. Thank you very much. I do my homework. Yeah, nice to see you.
Good to see you.
Bye-bye. And now we have coming down here, this looks like the VFW is joining us. Disabled American Veterans Group is the next one down the street.
So I don't know if everybody was listening to the band, the UMass Lowell band, but I believe they were playing the beginning of a song by Paul McCartney and Wings. If you're on Facebook, please tell us the name of that song.
Stopped right in front of us here. We have the Disabled American Honor Guard, along with their some honorary members walking with them.
They were
Got
diehards for our country, and they,
Good afternoon.
afternoon, Ms.
Thank you.
McLean.
Thank you very much for joining us today.
Well, it's been an honor to be here again. I'm a native of Massachusetts. My post is in Randolph, and I've been to this parade a number of times, both as a state officer and as a regular Ram vet coming up through the ranks. I love the parade. First time in, I don't know, 15 years that I've run into rain, though.
Well, and you know, we were trying to remember how long ago it had been since it rained, so it must have been about 15 years ago.
Yes, at least.
Yeah.
But,
I know. But it
thank
seems
you.
like it's given up, you know, it's letting up just a little bit, so it's not too torrential on you.
Yeah, it's not bad. And I'm riding in the vehicle, so I don't have it too bad.
Well,
But,
we appreciate you making the effort to come out here to Marlborough, and it is our honor to have you.
Well, thank you, thank you. It's an honor to be here and an honor to represent the veterans of the AMVETS, American veterans of the country. We're about 250,000 strong, and we advocate for veterans' rights and veterans' benefits. One of the many organizations that helped push the PACT Act. I'm glad it finally got approved. So more of our veterans
We are glad.
can now get service.
Absolutely.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your
Thank
service.
you.
And for those
Need
of you
devotion.
that missed the introduction, this is the national commander of the AMVETS,
AMVETS, American
Don
veterans.
McLean.
Don McLean, Massachusetts native.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy the parade.
Be safe.
That's quite an honor for us to have him here in Marlborough for this parade.
100%.
Just goes to show the significance of the Labor Day parade here in
That
Marlborough.
too.
Yes. There's
It
a
does
lot
it-
of
as
work
we-
that goes on behind the scenes for our veterans, and getting them the services and the benefits that they deserve is something that's extremely important.
Right shoulder, left, hard. Hard, guys, hard. Forward, hard.
One of the vehicles with them is this big red truck that we're going to see in just a minute. And this is decorated every year in honor for the Veterans Run. And it's decorated by John DeLore. He does it every year, and he does the run. Thank you for your service. So we have this unit sponsored by St. Mary's Credit Union coming down the street right now.
Beautiful float with the American flag.
We got some veterans sitting on the float, a few empty chairs, but again, that's because of the rain.
And do we have any information on who won floats today from Floats Design?
We have not heard yet, but coming down the street right now, we do have our Grand Marshal,
Right.
which we had the opportunity to meet
Via
on
that segment earlier.
Via the segment earlier, and this is Matt Sargent. He is our Grand Marshal this year for the Labor Day Parade. And kind of unusual, the Labor Day,
Those BBs?
the Grand Marshal typically rides in a car,
Mayor of Midnights?
but Matt Sargent is riding on a float because he wanted to have some honored guests with him today.
Very nice.
So it's very nice to have him. With him is, in the blue shirt there, is our Veterans Agent Mike Hennessy. I don't think he's going to jump down and talk to us, but no, I'm good. Thanks, Mike.
Come back this way, say hello.
And I'm thinking the DAV here, this might be one of our Gold Star mothers in this van driving by here. We have a couple of Gold Star. Usually riding in there, and if I'm not
There's
mistaken,
definitely Gold Star mom in there.
that might be Lydia Whitcomb.
Yeah.
So
Lydia Wickham's been around.
she is a resident down at New Horizons.
Yep.
We have the DAV Chapter 82 passing us now.
So I also want to acknowledge that some of the cheerleaders carrying the banners are from the youth football program.
Okay.
Not only just the high school, but the AYF.
And the DAV, they do collect donations as they walk down the street. They're the only ones in the parade that's allowed to do this.
Exactly.
And this is for hospitalized veterans. So it's a very worthy cause. And we have fife and drum coming down the street. The 54th Massachusetts Company A Regiments.
They're going to be on September 24th. They're going to be at the Longfellow Wayside Inn. It's a full day of music, muskets, history, and fun, and it's an annual event. If you're ever visiting the city of Marlborough, or if you're from the city of Marlborough and you make your way towards the Wayside Inn, the Longfellows, it's an annual event. You'll see tents packed up over in the field. They take over the whole property, and it's quite the sight.
That was the Sudbury Fife and Drum that just passed us.
The Sudbury Ancient.
It's a new vantage point for us this year, Steve. I kind of like it watching what's coming down the street.
Yeah, usually in that background, we're watching it on a monitor.
Right.
So now we're looking at it directly, which is why I have my glasses on sometimes to see how far I fall. Another sergeant. Paul Sergeant.
And this would be the Boxborough Minutemen that are approaching us. They dress up in their period clothing, and they help with highway cleanup and perform ceremonial duties. And I do see some young members, so it's nice that they're
keeping the tradition alive.
Absolutely, encouraging young folks to join them.
Again,
Not sure back in the day if they had those kind of raincoats, though. You know?
no.
I think
but it looks like some of them are authentic too.
Yeah.
They're not in rain gear.
Yep.
Nothing, Marlborough, right where we are, is rich in history. It's only at the other block, upper block, about the Knox Trail. This used to be the Knox Trail, Route 20, where Henry Knox went from Ticonderoga to the city of Boston, bringing in armaments for the Revolution.
Next unit is being sponsored by Juniper Farms. Juniper Farms is one of our longtime sponsors of the parade. We appreciate them doing this for us.
We get heating oil and ice cream.
There you go. And I think following them is the William Diamond Junior Fife Drum Corps from Lexington, Massachusetts.
There's Abraham Lincoln coming down. It's our own local Steve Symes, who's been playing Abraham Lincoln for the last decade and a half, if not longer.
That's right.
Recently retired from Raytheon and getting to play Abraham Lincoln more often.
That's right.
And this is Concord, the Concord Minutemen. Captain Kyle Sweeney presents the Concord Minutemen. It was January 12th, 1775. The original Concord Minutemen signed the muster rolls, organizing one of the most famous citizen militia in American history.
William Diamond Jr. is from Lexington, Mass. We have one of our first political candidates coming down the street right now. We have Mara Dolan.
For Governor's Council.
Which we don't often see somebody walking in the parade for Governor's Council, so good job. Next down, we have the United Native American Cultural Council, and they're out of Devens, Massachusetts.
Okay.
They're located out near the Old Fort. And then I think right behind them, the Native American Cultural Council there,
So
they do have a nice
Marlborough trophy.
There we go.
For their
float here.
The Native Americans have won. And you got the dream wheel, a couple of dream wheels surrounding it, and then.
And the Marlborough trophy is for the most artistic. So when you take a look at this float, you'll see why they won that honor.
And then right behind them
is
the interesting is the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile.
And we have a very
that's well, you know, that's quite
overzealous
an honor to actually have in the Marlborough Parade.
Absolutely.
The
And then we have
Wienermobile.
candidate Chris Dempsey walking down the street. We have
With
Senator
Eldridge
Eldridge.
walking with them.
Yes, Chris Dempsey is running for state auditor. He's got a pretty good crew with him today. And then our next section here down the street is being sponsored by Digital Federal Credit Union.
So the lulls have disappeared, Trish.
Mhm.
They're right on top of us, so we're having a challenge keeping up with all the entries, but we're doing our part. But
yeah.
Everybody's seen it live on TV, YouTube, Facebook. Hey, a shout out to our crew, Matt Pizzaccio and Michael Lawton, and Michael Lawton's trusty aide. What is it?
Ava Lawton.
Ava Lawton. They're in their rain gear, making sure the production.
We have National Miss Elite Little Miss. Look at this. We have one of our beauty queens here just went by.
Very nice. She looks young.
Well, Little Miss, so I think that means little.
We have Cabela's is in the parade today, and they're located in Hudson. They got a beautiful store up in Hudson.
They almost could put that pontoon
We
boat
got a
on the
pontoon boat.
street.
I know where they can put that pontoon
That's
boat.
right, yeah.
My backyard. And here we got AYF cheerleaders.
Yeah. And they are, aren't they great?
And they got their own cover. They got their own
They
little tents.
do, they're awesome. And they are followed by candidate for governor, Jeff
Dale and
Dale.
Allen.
They have a pretty big contingent here today in the parade. We appreciate them being here. Even in the rain, they're having a lot of fun,
You
so
gotta
that's
have fun.
great. You gotta have fun when you're
We
doing
remember
that.
those days.
We sure do.
Whether we were the candidates or we were volunteers.
That's right. And I would imagine, I didn't see the candidates,
I didn't see the candidates,
so
no.
I'm thinking they're a little bit behind. We have a great float coming down the street right now that won the Judges Trophy, and that's the Marlborough Public Library float.
Very good.
The Marlborough Public Library and the Marlborough Public Library Foundation have done a phenomenal job.
They have.
It's very exciting to watch this new building going up.
It's folding right before our eyes, and by next October, they should be moving in.
Right, so on the float today we have former City Councilor Marilyn Perry, a longtime Rotarian, also a member
The chair of the foundation. too.
also a member of the foundation, and the chair of the Marlborough Public Library Foundation.
Hello,
And I
Miss Perry.
believe that's his daughter
How
on there
are
as
you?
well.
Great.
Hi, Marilyn.
And they got pictures of what the library's finished product is going to look like.
Very exciting to
I
watch
was
it go.
fortunate to be on the building committee, and the 3-4 years of process that it took to get to that point. It's a point of great pride.
It
to have
sure
a new
is.
library coming.
Yep. I do not know who we have here, Steve.
Capitol Library. The Great American Marching Band, I believe.
And I believe this is their first time in our parade, so we
Okay,
want to
and-
thank them for coming out.
And the next entry is sponsored by Main Street Bank. And it looks like they are the Acorn Self-Storage. So that was the Marlborough Public Library. They were a sponsor of the Marlborough Public Library float. I don't want to miss them. Acorn Self-Storage.
And then we have another candidate coming down the
There's the
street.
Grand Marshal's Trophy right here. So that is a picture of the Baptist Church, the Grace Baptist Church. So that's not a picture, but that is actually a replica model of the Grace. So that's the Grace
And the
Baptist
Grand
Church
Marshal
entry.
Trophy is the best overall trophy.
And that's the Grand Marshal Trophy.
Yep. And we have candidates for governor here, Doty and Campanelle.
Lieutenant Governor.
Governor and Lieutenant Governor. Yep. And following them is Triborough Youth Hockey that is bringing their own cover on wheels.
Yeah, customized.
Kind of like it's skating down the street.
Right.
There you go. See what I
They
did
could
there? A
use
little
it
play on
together,
words.
right?
You see what I did?
You're getting good.
There we go.
They could have used that in the bed race this morning with those.
Yeah,
wheels.
that's right. Yeah.
Maybe we could do something like that for next year, and we can go up to French Hill as well.
Yep. And following Triborough Youth Hockey is the Knights of Columbus. And every year I have to give them a shout out because my dad was a long-standing member of the Knights of Columbus. My brothers, my husband. It's a great organization. This is Council 561, the Marlborough and Hudson.
I see Michael Tremblay out there.
I see my friend Dale Dolish out there.
Marlborough Girls Softball. I'm so happy to see them out in the parade this year. What a great organization. My two daughters went through that organization for 10 plus years. And what do we got? We've got magnets coming our way.
All
Stick us
right,
30
Mike,
years.
you are
30
everywhere.
Years. 30 years. Very nice.
30 years for youth softball. That's
Give a
amazing.
big shout out to Karen
Oh,
Callahan.
we have our AD, Jeff Radinsky, walking behind them.
There he is.
Yeah.
Whose
Marlborough
granddaughter's
High
in Marlborough
AD.
softball.
There you go. Granddaughter's in Marlborough softball.
That's right.
Amazing. Wow. We have,
Congressman Lori Trahan is out there today. Congresswoman, where is she?
She usually runs over to see us.
She does. I can't.
Yeah, I know.
Looks like her, but that's not her.
That is not her, so she must be
It,
a little bit behind, I'm thinking.
oh, there she is.
Here she comes.
Congresswoman.
Congresswoman,
You're looking great in your
how
rain
are
gear.
you?
Say hello to the.
Hello there. How are you?
How are you?
I'm great.
Thank you
I'm
for
great.
not missing the parade
I would
because
never
of the
miss
rain.
the Marlborough Day Parade.
Thank you very
Congratulations
much.
on being. Are you unopposed this year?
In my primary, not in the general.
Okay, well.
So I'll need folks' vote in November.
All right,
Okay.
but thank you for coming to the
Thank
city
you
of
for
Marlborough
coming
the
out today.
parade.
We
Wouldn't miss
appreciate
it. And it's great to see so many people on the route.
Exactly.
Great. Good to
Thank
hear
you.
that there's a
Good to
lot
see
out
you.
there, so thank you.
All right, you too.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Good to see you.
And now we have Dancetown Dance Center, Downtown Dance Center. So they're right down the street
Yeah,
here
they're
by
right next
Funky
to Funky
Murphy's.
Murphy's.
Yeah? And a little rain can't deter them from having some fun, huh? We have Calaccio Landscaping.
Some shiny new trucks. I think we have a nice special guest with us today.
We sure do.
A diehard for the city of Marlborough, born and raised. Officer Benina.
Officer
you
Benina,
doing?
how's the route out there today? Is there a lot of people?
No, it's quiet. It's quiet today, but I'm expecting that with the weather.
We have some diehards though.
We do. We do.
We're not the only ones out there. There's few hundred people out there.
Yeah, several
So
hundred
we
people.
thank you for driving your bicycle up and down, keeping everybody safe.
Thank you so
Has
much.
it been incident-free so far?
So far, so good.
So far,
Yeah.
so good.
Hopefully it stays that way.
That's good.
Yes,
We
absolutely.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
very much.
Thanks for being here.
All right.
Officer Bobby Bonina.
Stay safe on that bike today.
I don't know about you, but now the parade's gets out, there's some energy here. I mean,
Absolutely, yeah.
the rain is tapered off a little bit. It's not torrential downpour anymore.
Some of
I hope
us-
everybody at home watching is enjoying it.
We have Acorn Self-Storage. We had some of our sponsors skipping around here today because of the folks that had to pull out. But we will make sure to read the whole list before we end
We will,
today.
and we'll try to intermingle their sponsorships. I know Patriot Landscape, St. Mary's Credit Union are major sponsors. Lieutenant Cavallo? No. Captain Cavallo? Chief Cavallo. Aspiring chief.
We have another political candidate walking by here, Dean Tran. He's running for
running
U.S.
for Congress.
Congress.
That was funny. Lori Tran and D Tran.
Yeah.
Trahan and Tran, not to be confused with the two, right?
And we got our postal service walking down the street.
Very good.
You know, it's
Rain-
no surprise that they're out there today. You know, nothing stops them.
Rain, wind, or snow.
Absolutely.
No mail is delivered today at Lawn Labor Day.
Nope.
It's a federal holiday.
Nope. There's my buddy Neil, my favorite.
Thank you, but
Everybody has a favorite. Neil is the mailman for the senior center. So thank you very much.
how are you? Good, how are you? Very nice entry to have the post office here. The U.S.
Absolutely.
Postal Workers.
Yeah,
And they're hiring.
they're hiring, and you know, they take a lot of grief, but they get the job done. We appreciate
Paying
what
for
they do.
57 cents, they get the letter from here to California.
That's right. And now who do we have? I'm going to let you take this one because I know who we have.
Well, the Marlborough Shamrocks are before us, and they are notorious for how great football program they have. Bobby Kay's brought them to us for the last 20, 30 years, and now they're under the new ownership.
Right.
And they're still affiliated with Bob Kay's, but they are putting out great football. They're having a great season. They compete for national
have a
championships
lot of
on
local
a regular.
kids.
They do.
A lot of Marlborough High kids that have moved on to their careers and now are playing
They have
semi-pro
Coach
football.
Soto is with us
Yeah.
today. Coach, come and see us for the TV for 1 second. Are you playing too, Billy?
Yeah.
Billy, get over here. We got father-son team here. We
All
got
right.
father-coach team.
Oh, yeah.
We got Bill
You guys want a
Soto
lollipop?
Sr. No, thank you.
no,
Bill,
thank you.
Bill Soto Jr., who played football with my son at Assabet at Westfield State. How's the team doing this year?
We're 8-1.
Marlborough Lions
8-1.
walking by.
We got a game, an away game this week. We've locked up the first seed, so we get a bye week the week after, and then we'll be hosting a home game in 2 weeks.
At
Nice.
Kelleher
So,
Field.
at Kelleher Field.
And
Absolutely.
Junior, you carrying the ball or just throwing blocks?
No, I'm linebacker this year. Just
All right.
making some tackles.
Very
All
good.
right, good
Very
job, good job. Well, it's an honor to have you guys here, and I know it's a source of local pride, the Marlborough Shamrocks.
The town has been very, very.
Oh, we're going to have a game
grateful.
live. That
So
game live?
happy.
We're going to have a game live on the 24th.
Wow, that's awesome.
WMCT.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck. Be safe.
baby.
We did miss the Marlborough Lions Club walked by, and I
All
have
right,
to give
I've-
myself a shout out. I'm a new member of the Lions.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And look, we have some floats here with
Yeah,
sun.
We actually have the
raisins.
Shriners in their little Aleppo trucks are coming by.
That might be a sign of things, though.
It might be a sign of things of
We
what's
could come
happening
to the
here.
end If the Aleppos are here, the
I
Shriners
think
are
we
here.
are. Yeah. But look at these trucks. For anybody that's watching at home, these are miniaturized trucks. The Shriners do great work. The money that they raise for Shriners Burn Institute.
Yep.
No patient at Shriners ever pays a dime. It's amazing the work they do. They are sponsored. They are part of the Masons organization.
We're looking at all the Mack trucks right now.
Right. And they
small in
look like
size,
toys, but they are not.
They are awesome.
Right.
And they are taking their lives in their own hands today with the wet ground, I'll tell
They
you that.
sure are.
But we're very grateful that they stayed regardless of the weather.
Right.
We're very grateful how entertaining they are.
And we have the Aleppo, the Shriners Walking Group with us. They're from Wilmington, Massachusetts. Our local affiliate of the Shriners is our Masons organization here in town. They do great charity work. We are very fortunate to have them here.
Let's give them a shout for what they do the first Sunday in June downtown
Absolutely.
with their car show.
The car show is amazing.
If you've not seen the car show downtown Marlborough put on by the local Masons, you need to put that on your list because it's free. It's fantastic what they bring here for cars.
And I would think we would have a local contingent walking with them.
I'm sure Bob Archibald is driving something out there for him.
My friend Todd Boschman just became a Shriner. He's a member of the Masons. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for being here. Come say hello.
And this is our local contingent right here. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Oh, we got Minutemen fifers behind us.
Yep.
Look, we have a Civil War contingent as well.
Very impressive.
There are more Shriners.
More Shriners
We
coming.
got dune buggies coming up.
I got a little show going on down the street here with these dune buggies. They're approaching us right now. I think they just ride in the parade to have fun. What do you think?
No question.
Yep.
They're having fun. And providing fun.
Yep. The rain has let up quite a bit down here on Main Street, so actually the crowd has also increased quite a bit as we're looking up the
Really
street.
has.
Yeah.
I think people have seen us an hour or two ago knowing that it's okay to come down, that they wouldn't be alone.
That's right.
And I'm telling you, I'm seeing hundreds of people now, a lot of young people, a lot of young kids out here, creating memories, realizing that they watched the parade in the rain.
That's right. We just have another one of the, this must be a Shriners transport vehicle that we've got here. So everybody can jump on at the end of the parade. We have some more Shriners coming down the street. We have the, I don't know what you call these cars that they're driving. We have the clowns first.
Let's say that one of the major sponsors helped subsidize getting the Shriners here because there are expenses involved.
Absolutely.
And Patriot Ambulance, Dave Walton, his company, they're a sponsor every year.
They are the go-to for the parade for sure.
They are our biggest sponsor, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And we want to give them a thank you. St. Mary's Credit Union, a thank you. Acorn Storage, Murphy Insurance. We want to thank them again before the broadcast is over of all of our sponsors. But I don't believe the parade is near over.
I think it's just a little bit out of order this year.
It's a little out of order because of the rain, and that's understandable. So.
And I'm going to give credit to the people up at the top of the hill there up on French Hill. I think they put them in the parade as they arrive to keep them as dry as possible and keep it moving.
Melanie Wampum, I believe, is at the head of the parade.
Yep.
Making sure
we have
it's
the
all
Aleppo
coordinated.
clowns
The
here
Aleppo
with their train. Now, what do you call these vehicles, Steve, that we're going to see right now?
Well, there's something buggies. They were called buggies at the time.
Yeah.
If anybody on Facebook wants to let us know what these little red vehicles are used to be called, they're obviously early automobiles.
Yeah.
Well, they were Oldsmobiles because I saw a label of an Oldsmobile on there, but not your father's Oldsmobile though.
Nope. Now we've got a series
maybe your great-grandfather's Oldsmobile.
Now we have a series of fire
golf
trucks.
Carts,
golf carts that are
golf carts that are
fire
dressed up as
brigade.
fire trucks.
Yep.
I'm afraid those hoses might squirt us, so I'm not sure.
We got a lot of smiling faces on these vehicles, though, Steve. So the rain isn't deterring anybody's mood, for sure.
A little different contingent than last year's Shriner offering, too.
Absolutely, yep.
I believe they have many variations. Keeping it fresh.
We always get a big crew from them, and it's always a surprise to see what we get.
They do not hold back.
Nope. Today was probably a good idea to see so many vehicles.
Well, you'll see them all in the gridlock of 495 as they drive these little vehicles up 495 back. So.
There you go, right.
Every Labor Day, you see these little Shriner vehicles stuck in 495 as you try to enter into Wilmington. It's just...
But it is, you know, I wish everybody could see what we're seeing right now. These guys are stopping and they're greeting all the kids and just giving them a good time today, so. They obviously love being part of the parade and love driving these little vehicles.
Around the world, there are 300,000 members of the Shriners.
So in order to be a Shriner, you have to first be a Mason, and then you have to go through the rituals and receive your fez, which is a very big deal.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And I do want to, while we have a little bit of a lull here, I know we have some of the residents of the branches are watching us live today. A new assisted living here in Marlborough.
Christopher Heights.
Christopher Heights, they're watching us. New Horizons, the Reservoir. So we do want to thank them all for tuning in.
I'm sure they're watching on 240 Main Street and Pleasant Street and Bolton Street as well.
That's right.
And the Academy Knoll up on Bolton.
Academy Knoll and 240 Main Street have the advantage of being right there, so they could be looking out their windows.
Right, it's on the parade, not too far from Pleasant Street.
Right.
So now these are the tractor trailers that actually carry the motor vehicles. They're not stuck on 495, as I was joking, but look at just the logistics of it all. To be able to, these aren't cheap. I mean, these are investments in these trucks.
And their motto is, "We ride so they can walk."
Right.
It stopped.
So it's uncertain whether the parade's coming to an end or are there more entries coming down.
I don't know. I don't know if we're getting some clowns coming down.
Well, those aren't clowns.
Well, it's the clown truck.
Those are relatives of mine.
Oh.
That's it.
That's it. Well,
the cleanup truck behind them?
Well, before we sign off, we want to make sure that we thank all of our sponsors one more time.
Yep.
Mayor Arthur Vigent was one of our sponsors, along with St. Mary's Credit Union, Juniper Farms, Murphy Insurance,
DCU Digital Credit Union, Main Street Bank, Acorn Self-Storage, KM Enterprises,
the Wapham family, Ken's Food, and
again,
Patriot.
the Patriot Ambulance
Is our major sponsor this year, and again, we thank you for that. To Dave Walton and his team, we couldn't put on this parade without you.
And again, thank you to the DPW, the police department, the fire department.
The parade committee, Chuck Thibodeau down the recreation department, Trish Bernard, our longtime friend Ed Thurber is still part of the parade committee. Dan
When does the
Caruso.
planning start for next year's parade?
I believe it'll start tomorrow.
Starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
So next year's parade starts tomorrow.
And we have the street sweeper coming down the street, which signifies the end of the parade. But before we end, we do have a goodbye message from Mayor Arthur Vigent that we're going to be playing, I believe.
Are we done after that?
So thank you all very, very much for coming out today. It was a great parade. I want to thank some of our sponsors, Dave Walton and Patriot Ambulance, Murphy Insurance for coming through for us again, and St. Mary's Credit Union. Get up to the Greek Festival later today. They always do a great job up there. I'll talk to you soon. Talk to you later.